danger for me as being vertically challenged.
This is an Isuzu D-Max dual cab, 2015 model, the turbo diesel base model, four-wheel drive, and it's owned by my daughter Kate and her husband Cameron. You've no doubt seen them in earlier shows of mine, perhaps building their X-Trail. Now they're ready to share with you what they've done now.
And this was originally for the travel buddy, but then we thought that was a better spot for it.
I agree. This then is Kate and Cameron's latest budget overland tourer. If you remember, not long ago they built an X-Trail and I helped them make 3 videos about that budget build. They've now progressed to a proper off-road tourer.
We're at a point now where we're really happy with the car. It's so good for longer trips, shorter day trips, and we're just going to be running you through what's currently on the car, in the car, and what's working.
This is something to look at because, yes, it's budget, but they've used the ute in a way that's quite unusual and amazingly practical. Because I think putting one large canopy on the back of a ute is extremely inefficient when it comes to using the space and accessing the kit underneath the canopy. What they have done instead is put 2 tradie boxes on the load tray, which means the vehicle now is so much more versatile than it could ever be with a single canopy. So my theory is this, tell me if you agree with me. If you put a canopy on it, that area at the behind the cab, far forward, it's almost difficult to use, really difficult to use efficiently. The reason why Heiner is here as well is that we didn't copy him, but we were certainly inspired by you.
Well, but you did.
Now, I saw on the canning how easy this was for you.
Right.
I mean, I could just see it.
Yeah.
You just open up everything.
And it's all there.
And you climb up there, you arrive at a campsite, you climb up there once, chuck a few things down, and it's done.
Yeah. I think it's the whole middle of a canopy. That's why I never went for a workshop setup, because you can't stack things up really high in the middle. Or if you do, you can't access them anymore because you've got things sitting in front of them. And if you want to actually transport really bulky, dirty things like firewood or dirty max tracks, whatever, you don't want to put it in your canopy because that's where the clean stuff usually goes. So you lose all the ability of you to carry this big, bulky,
Yes.
dirty stuff.
Yes.
But with this, you don't, because this is still ute space. And it's just a good setup like that. It just works. For ute, it's brilliant.
Absolutely.
And the only reason I did a setup like that was because it was my work ute and I needed full access everywhere. And then only after that, I realized.
So that's the point. That's the point of this design. We're going to show it to you now. Is that not only is it a tourer where you can access everything important really, really quickly, it can also be used as a ute.
Yeah, so we've got a fairly simple system. I've got DC-DC, solar, I've got remote switching for when I need to use anything when I'm not in the car. Just switches, USBs, and obviously the DC hub to distribute all the power, and 200 amp lithium.
200 amp.
Yeah,
200 amp.
200
This is
amps.
supposed to be a budget build.
It was budget. This is the old version of the 200
Oh.
amp.
Poor guy.
Yeah, it came out of my camper and was donated when I got the upgraded version.
Your ammo boxes fit in there, obviously, size-wise. Bushman upright, 60.
Bushman 65, yeah. And then this was originally for the travel buddy, but then we thought that was a better spot for it.
I agree.
Yeah, because
Yes.
that was a little bit of dead space.
Yes. And Illumino light, well done.
National Luna.
That's a lunar light.
Nice. I've heard they've got the same light temperature than a campfire when you put them on orange.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's not orange.
No, but you have to put them to orange.
It's not working.
That.
It's campfire light.
That's same light temperature as a campfire.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to unpack it?
These are just tradie boxes, aren't they? There's nothing special about them.
No, nothing
You just
special.
measured up. You measured up the fridge, because that was your benchmark. So you started
Yeah.
with the fridge, made sure the fridge would fit, ordered the boxes, fitted the boxes, stripped out inside because they had some funny.
They had shelving,
Ribs
so
and shelving.
I still have that shelving there.
Yeah.
But what's going to end up happening is that I'm going to hollow that area out
Okay.
and put lots of shelving for
Okay.
cups, cutlery, all that kind of
Right.
stuff. So that's
So
still...
you modified the boxes for touring. They're delivered reasonably. Not. I mean, you obviously can get different shelf configurations when you buy them. You bought the basic one.
Yeah.
And then you're going to kind of configure it for touring.
Suppose you hand it to me as I'm done.
He's like a caveman. Still using.
It's still faster than that. This goes slow. Look at that.
Oh,
Got the
okay.
basic one so that I could do what I wanted with
Oh,
it.
okay. And you sleep in a,
Sleep in
Your
Oz
RV4.
tent. Yeah.
which is my favourite ground tent. I had one for a while. Really good. You need to put holes in the back. You need to let
For venture.
vent.
That is part of the plan already.
Oh, okay.
This is just more of a test.
So I've got tools, my swag, things that are bulky I don't need to get to too often over there.
Yep.
And I use a solar panel as a lid with a magnet, so I can just fold that to the side,
right.
which gives me really good access to that.
Right.
And then I've got the jerry can holders, which I got the little tables, so I can put my ice machine somewhere,
Yep.
or the sandwich maker.
Yep.
This is for washing dishes. And then I've got hot water, the first version ever of the water hub.
Yes, our very first prototype.
And it
hub.
still works. And I've got a compressor tank, retractable hose reels for air and drink water, and then I can plug in a shower here. And if I want to access the area up there, usually I just use the step here,
Oh, and just climb up.
or when I'm driving, that step is just out of the way. So everything to do with food preparation is on the left-hand side. I've got a fridge here. I use different fridges in here all the time. Shouldn't say it, this is still my favorite. Even everybody else the nomadic fridges, I still like this one really well. I've got a cooker here that usually sits in the drawers. The tables just pull in and out like that. Rob has built them. Got a chopping board inbuilt and travel buddy, extra lights. National lunar lights. They turn on in orange, actually. Same light temperature as a campfire. I heard. And I've got the prototype of our switching system here. Wireless switching for compressor and all the lights around.
That's a secret.
That's, yeah. Oh.
Sorry, camera's rolling.
Oh. Yeah, that's this. And, you know, it's just cutlery, stuff like that in here. Yeah.
You were saying that doing a 270 is too difficult with this system.
No, it doesn't work because you can't really mount it. It's just in the way of everything. It also prevents you from accessing the back when it's folded all the way around.
But that's the case. Yes.
And also mounting it because it's quite long.
Mounting it, I can see that's the problem. I can see that. That is definitely a problem.
And you can't put it on the cab and on the box at the same
No,
time because it
you
would just
cannot do that.
shear apart.
It would tear apart.
So I've gone for a 180 awning that you can
look.
fold out to both sides.
Let's have a look.
And I put it on hinges so it's not too high
I saw that. That's clever.
because I wanted to keep a low profile.
Does it hold up in the wind?
Even on tracks and everything, it's never actually popped up. Oh, you mean when it's out?
Yeah, when it's out.
No, I put something onto it so it doesn't come out. Because otherwise it falls over. I've had that before, it looks like a massive sail.
No, that's good. That's nice. I thought this was going to be much smaller than that. That's really not bad at all. Yeah.
And
really
that
is-
works
no,
quite
that's-
well.
that's-
So quite often when it's actually raining, I put my swag right here. So this is actually, if it's raining and you're out and about, this is a good area where you can actually sit somewhere and relax without being rained on.
I had one of these in Africa for a while. It's a fantastic product.
Is that it? That's set up.
That's
And
it.
peg it.
Really?
You just peg it. It's
Ignore the
brilliant.
big hole in the fire screen.
Yeah, I've met.
I'm actually thinking my Africa troop carrier. Okay, here's some news. I'm not going to put a camping roof conversion on it.
I pretend I haven't heard this before.
For one
That's cool.
for one trip. Just ignore them. They're just being ridiculous. Okay, so here's the deal: is I'm thinking about that too is a basic build, no roof conversion. Inside, sleeping for one person, but when I'm travelling with Gwyn, put an RV4 on the roof. I actually prefer ground tents to rooftop tents. That's what I'm thinking of doing. And I don't know if the shot's going to go in the video because I don't know if I should reveal that yet. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking about doing. Ice maker.
Yes, that's the ice maker.
Okay.
That is usually sitting in here.
Oh, okay.
So that I usually don't
On
go
your
anywhere without it.
On your little table.
Yeah, on the little table.
All right. So this is kind of the evolution of Cam's idea.
Yeah.
This is what it can become. That's why
Yeah.
I'm showing it to you.
So this is the, I think this is the first time we did it. Cam and I talked a lot about this setup, and I think eventually Cam went like, all right, it's not going to be a canopy, it's going to be tool boxes as well.
Yes.
But I think this is, for me, this is a very efficient way of setting this up and using the space, even though this side here has been made a bit like a showpiece, so you could use the space a lot better than this here.
Right.
So this is mainly storage. Battery, 150 amp hour, Red Arc manager system, Egan DC hub.
There's lighting in here.
Do you want the cool light on it?
Yeah. But it's a red light, so it's not a national lunar light.
No, it's a hella light.
Well, you can tell it's not a national lunar light. Why? Why? Because it's red.
Yeah.
It's this toolbox or what? What do you
No,
carry
this
in
is
here?
food. Really important. That's the toilet box.
Okay.
So it's got toilet paper and stuff like that in it.
Yes, we've all got a toilet box.
Yeah. And then this is just storage, an ammo box with bits and pieces in there. I usually always have a hot water bottle. It's probably, even though it's summer, it's still in there, just in case it's cold. Okay. And this is just storage. Usually 2 of these drawers are empty. So it's when I go on a trip, I put things in there that I'll need on that trip. There's also always a sandwich maker in here.
You have a lot of storage space.
I do, yeah. And you know, I can get to it everywhere.
All of it.
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
Easily.
And I usually have more storage space for long trips in here, because I take the seat out and put a plate in there, and then I mount a freezer and more clothes, and I can still access them through the doors.
And you also have a roof rack
Yes.
for all your Max Tracks. And where do you put your chair?
Under the driver's seat.
Oh yes, you've got that funny tiny little wrap up.
Yeah, it just packs together about
Yes.
that size, and I can just shove it under the seat.
Okay.
Works quite well because it's always dry,
That is.
no matter what I do,
Yeah.
no matter how many mud puddles I hit.
Water tank. Where's your water tank? There's your filler, obviously.
Filler is there. The water tank is under the tray. It is 1.10 meters by 90 centimeters by 9 centimeters high. So I use the whole big area under the tray for one big, really slim water tank.
Okay.
And it's 90 liters in there.
All right. And 100.
150.
150.
Yeah.
150 Amtron.
With the awning out, it's a bit more complicated. I've actually smashed my head into this a fair few times. And the solar panel has got a pretty strong magnet there and just folds away to the side, and I can access all the bits and pieces that I've got in here. Water pumps, recovery gear, chainsaw, fire cooking, swag, the whole lot. And if I need to get on top of my roof rack, I can just walk straight through, which I quite like, to be able to walk on my car.
Suspension, you put in parabolics.
Parabolics terrain tamer.
And they're smart coils with their variable
Yeah.
coil on the front. You're still high at the back because obviously you're empty at the moment.
Yeah,
because
so
you're
there's
gonna
no extra fuel and no extra water.
extra water.
Yeah.
And what's the ride like compared to standard?
Mine was fairly old before,
Yes.
so it was not great. I was sitting at the bottom quite a bit, and then once I got this, it was obviously a lot higher. And it's still a bit stiff because I'm not fully loaded.
You're not loaded.
But when
yet.
I was loaded in December, it felt very comfortable. I really enjoyed it.
Alright, hello. So we are heading out for a little bit of a chill day. Not even an hour outside Perth. We're just going to hang out in the bush for a little bit. But I wanted to give you guys a bit of a breakdown of what we have done so far on the car. But we did take it on more of a long excursion up to Kalbarri in December, where we really got to put things to the test, meaning our suspension from Terrain Tamer, our fridge, which has been freaking epic, for me especially because I'm short and I've spent my whole life trying to like dig at the bottom of really like deep fridges, and now that it's my car and I'm the one cooking, it's just been so good. I pretty much spent my entire camping existence digging and trying to get to the bottom of big fridges, like leaning over stuff, just can't see anything, can never reach the bottom. And this is our solution, and it's proved so good, just in terms of packing and things like that. I've pretty much taken over packing it, and it stores a lot more than you would think it does as a 65, and everyone else tries to take over packing, and if they just listened to me, it would be packed perfectly. But yeah, it pretty much, I'm gonna get in trouble, I have to close that. But it pretty much stores everything that we'd need in order for, I'd say, probably a week. Meat, not as much, just purely because of freezer space. But you can store, if it's like fridge space, we have found it plenty for 2. Yeah, it's just been a game changer in terms of like organizing.
So we recently upgraded the tyres. We were on Cooper all-terrains before, and now we've gone to the Overlanders mud terrains. They were a good price for me at the moment, and I wanted to give them a try. I've heard decent things about them, and that's going quite nicely with the suspension that we got from Terrain Tamer. We've got the parabolics in the rear. We've gone for a bit of a heavier weight system, just because we're going to be putting bigger fuel tank and water tanks and that kind of stuff, so I want to prepare for that. And you always underestimate weight, so I just went a little bit higher to protect that. Yeah, so she's sitting a bit high at the moment, but once we've got our weight and the setup we wanted, the I want list.
The I want list, the never-ending I want list. I want to carry on fitting out the kitchen. That's a pretty big one for me. It was just so good having it when we were on a longer trip in Kalbarri. Yeah, just having everything needs to have a place, and finally everything did have a place, but it does need a little bit more organization, I would say.
Yeah, Kalbarri is good because we finished the like foundation of it all, and then now we just need to do those little things that make it work.
We need water.
Really well.
We need water. That's a big one. I want to be able to take a shower that isn't in the sea.
And just have a good amount of drinking water and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cook without having to empty a bunch of bottles.
Yeah.
And then with that, we're able to do water heater systems, which is great with the battery system.
Yeah.
Which is really good. And what else? Eventually a new fuel tank, because with the new tyres, it's starting to, the consumption's not there anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say that stuff doesn't matter to me as much, but the consumption does, definitely.
And then a project that's going to come up pretty soon is going to be toolboxes underneath the tray to store like air compressor, the tank and all that kind of stuff. And then the one underneath the kitchen, I think we're going to make like our rubbish bin almost.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense to have it right by the kitchen. That's usually facing everyone. It's where you're going to be dealing with the most rubbish. Maybe even just make half of it rubbish and the rest just storage. Still need to brainstorm that part of it. But the other side is just going to be recovery.
You're also putting a solar panel up top.
Yeah. I'm trying to come up with a plan for the solar panel that I can still access the middle from the top and get in there, but still having a hard fix without having to go onto a roof rack, which is another thing I want to do. But if I want to do a roof rack, it means it's just going to be a whole bunch more stuff that goes with it. We've got to make what we have work.
Yeah.
With this configuration, the part that is a ute remains a ute. And what I mean by that is access Now you can fit long items on your load bay. You can lock them with a frame over the top and another one in the front. You could say put a surfboard, rooftop tent, and you have a permanent working surface. So take, for example, if you were doing an overland trip that was really long and challenging, you could put your second spare wheel in there, firewood, recovery equipment, packed away. It's still reasonably easy to access, and then extra fuel down there, extra jerry can here. The versatility, in my opinion, when compared to a single full-length solid canopy here, there's really no comparison. This to me is a far more versatile option.